County Forestry and Parks Building the Grounds Committee meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Good morning, everyone. Michelle Dropnik.
Here.
Jeff Halstrand.
Here.
Jason Hastings. Jordan Spacek.
Here.
Patricia Steffen.
Here.
Okay, well, we do have a quorum, so we can continue with our meeting. Public comment and communications. I see we had a couple gentlemen here that signed up. I think it's my choice whether we hear them now or wait until they both have the same topic and it's on our agenda. So if you guys are okay sticking around for a little while, we'll wait until we're talking about the,
That's not on there.
isn't it on there?
Dan.
Oh, I thought it said Steve Creek Flow. It's the rifle, the shooting. So go ahead, and come up, whoever the first one on the list is there.
Make sure you introduce yourself and then
Where you're
the
from.
township that you're from or the location you're from.
Mark McCarron, Township of Kennon. We have a cabin right north of the gravel pit. Just right north of the gravel pit. What I wanted to address is the rifle range. I'm a member of the snowmobile club up here. So one thing, I don't know a lot about the rifle range. We just found out about this, but with the snowmobile trail running through the gravel pit, I don't think it's a viable option unless something changes for that, because I am an avid snowmobiler and I do ride out of the cabin. From a hunting perspective, because our land is at that back door, as far as the additional upkeep and all of the things with it, I'm not quite sure that it's a good idea to put a rifle range right there. There's a lot more to it as far as, I'm sure the studies have been done and different things as far as environment, the impact, the lead being in Steve Creek, all of those things I'd like to probably get more information on and find out about it. The other thing I do understand is that it was proposed by the Westboro Rod and Gun Club, I believe, which is at Taylor County. This is Price County. I'm not sure what the vested interest in that is, and I'm just not sure where this all started and exactly what it's about. I guess I'd need a lot more information, but I am opposed to this project, to the grant money, and to the project going forward. That's really all I got to say.
All right, thank you.
Jules, did you get the name? Okay.
Yeah, I gave her the sheet.
Yeah, the mic wasn't on to start.
Oh, okay.
It's not on.
Hello, my name is Kelly McCarron, Town of Cannon as well. That piece of land that he described, there's been in my family for 92 years. We've had control of that Steve Creek area for many, many years. In fact, the first 440s there were donated by my great uncle to the state. And I also oppose that. I think it's from my perspective, it takes away a lot of what we have invested there. I don't appreciate the idea of sitting on my porch on the river and listening to gunfire. We already have that quite a bit. That is what it is, but I just know that with the range, it's going to be much worse. It just kind of, you come up here for the solitude and noise pollution. Pollution isn't going to really make our stay here any better. And I just think there's got to be a place that's more secluded. And the other thing is, I've talked to the neighbors. No one in the block knew this was happening. This is all new to them. We talked to a friend who is also in the snowmobile club and is very into the community in Catawba. He had no idea it was going on. And we were never notified that this was coming up. So I also just wanted to voice my opposition to it.
All right, thank you. Any other communications or anything, Joel, that you have or Nick, you received? I haven't. Okay. Minutes from our November 12th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Jordan, second by Michelle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Vouchers went around. Did everybody get a chance to see them?
Just to make sure with the vouchers, we did have
We
two
did.
different.
They're all
okay,
there. It's a stack about this high.
Perfect.
Mhm.
From
Thank you.
November's were in there too. I think Michelle was probably the only one that missed them.
You gotta throw me under the bus.
I'm not, I'm just saying. you
We
were
did,
bu-
that's
you
the
were
reason
busy
there
with
was
work.
extras. There was
Yeah.
one member missed. See, I was net one member missed.
Yeah. So have they made it your way?
Yes.
Yep.
they're-
Everybody's okay, so.
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers.
Okay, I have a motion by Jordan,
I'll second.
second by Michelle. He really wants her name in the book today.
Gotta make up for last time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Approved. Do we need a meeting in January, Joe, do you believe, or? All right, well, our big new schedule is all out there, so we've got a day booked. We can just send an email out and cancel if not. I mean, I don't have it in front of me right now.
You can choose to skip it now if you want.
Yeah, well, let's skip January meeting.
Sure.
Michelle's still vacationing in Rantoul, Illinois, so. All right, well, to be determined on that one,
So February 4th will be your next meeting.
okay?
Probably should put that in my phone.
We won't scratch out that day just in case something happens with permits or something that Joel needs us to meet in January. So. Everybody got a copy of that where the meetings
Yeah, so January 7th would be your
are
a
reserved.
regular scheduled meeting. You're saying at this time we'll get an official email that it'll cancel, but assume cancellation.
Assume cancellation in January unless something comes up.
Correct. February 4th at 9 a.m. would be your February's regular scheduled meeting.
Yeah. All right, buildings and grounds, Mr. Josh.
Morning. Right now, our biggest project has been over at the concrete park. We're doing some remodeling over there, new drop ceiling, replacing lights, just updating that studio over there. We should be finishing up with that. My plan was to finish up tomorrow, but I think we'll be going into next week here.
And just so where that came about is Friends of Fred Smith approached us saying, we have some problems with the acoustics in here. It gets real loud. If you've been in that studio, it's real echoey. We did bring in a sound person to just say, is there something we can put on the walls? Is there something we can put on the ceilings? That was
Acoustic paneling.
Yeah, acoustic paneling. It came back way out of budget. It was really, really expensive. So working with Buildings and Grounds, working with Friends of Fred Smith, we came up with doing the drop ceiling. It's about $4,000 in materials. Friends of Fred Smith has agreed to pay for the materials, and then we did the work. So they're using their funds, whatever, their grant money that they have through Friends of Fred Smith to partner up, I guess, on that and update that studio. If that doesn't work the best, we have some other ideas where we can make some of our own acoustic paneling on the walls and just make it decorative. But I think there'll be a big difference with
It's already a
Drop.
noticeable difference in
yeah,
there.
good.
That was just drywalled ceiling, right? With like fluorescent lights on the
Correct,
ceiling,
yeah,
basically.
correct.
So how far do we drop it?
Only about 6 inches.
Okay, we didn't go much.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's still a decent, still feels good in there,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know.
gonna say you don't
but-
want to go down too much of that building because it feel like it'd be real short.
Okay,
Other than that, Jim, we just had some ductboard replaced in the sheriff's department. Kind of extension of the air handler unit that we had replaced, was it a year ago? We've been for the last couple of years trying to replace that ductboard. It just gets blown out. It's disintegrating, and replace it with actual metal ducting. So this is kind of there's not too much left in there. So
That's getting rid of the cardboard stuff.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yes, and then it was kind of a backup trunk off of that goes into this IT server room as like a backup cooling.
So right now our server room has an independent cooling system. What is it? Last summer we had a failure of that system, and so then we open doors. We get all these warnings. So while we were replacing this duct board, we made a chute that comes directly from the air handler, the cooling system for the regular building. That if we get those notices, Josh, anybody from his crew, or anybody from IT can run over to the building, and they just shut off the air conditioning to the full building, and it goes directly to our IT, which keeps that.
Just a manual damper
Yeah.
that redirects it into the IT room.
So it's a manual backup, which has been needed for a
Yeah,
long time.
but I think usually 102, 104
It
degrees.
gets hot real quick.
All those routers in there
I think it
heat
took.
up quick.
I think TJ said it took about 18 minutes to get overheated, which is about 120, 110 degrees.
Oh, do we cool that with mini splits today? Yeah.
It's its own system
Yes.
on this
Yeah.
the roof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's one or two of them.
Just one,
Oh,
just a single unit. Yep.
that might be something that to look at.
Yeah, and that's why we tied in the regular building, because that gives it its second leg
Yeah.
for an emergency. But it goes fast when that air conditioning turns off. Doesn't take
Plans
long.
on deck. I've been there, done that. So.
And we actually, it's very unique. If we can always do tours, but we've done it before where it's actually like a hallway system. So one half of the room is really cold and the other half isn't. So you're not cooling a whole system. It's a heat hallway, they call it. And so you open a door and all of a sudden there's a bunch of heat, but it's
Pulls through.
it's how the
servers,
system
yeah.
is set up when we made the server room.
Other than that, we've had a number of heaters that we've been repairing over at the sheriff's department. The garage heaters. It's been several years, and we've had a motor fail and some capacitor in the other one, so we replaced those. And also the airport, one of their buildings at the airport, we fixed one of their Modine heaters also. Other than that, we got some painting that we've been knocking out at the normal building in the health department, some of the offices over there. And other than that, it's been winter maintenance, keeping the buildings heated and sidewalks clean, and that's about all I got.
So Josh, have you heard anything now? I know that 13 here now is on the slate again for 2025. Do we have to replace a bunch of sidewalk out here?
Correct. Yep. So it started 3 years ago. We got a bill from the city saying they've found a contractor. They're going to be doing all the sidewalk prior to the Highway 13 project. A lot of the businesses saw it's an assessment, but it's a bill per foot that you would get charged. They went to a meeting. They ended up holding off the replacement of that sidewalk until the actual project, as long as people maintained their sidewalk in the meantime. And a lot of that came down to, with the redoing of Highway 13, there's going to be some elevation differences. And so people didn't want to replace the curb and gutter or curb and sidewalk and then have to do it again in 2 years with the change. So we have all the frontage in front of the courthouse here. I want to say our original bill was like $27,000 that we would be responsible to replace. It can be put on our taxes. We don't pay taxes, so it would just be a project we're aware of with that Highway 13 project. We can contract our own individual to do it because we're our own city block area. So I have been working with the highway department because they did all the curb or the sidewalk and curb stuff around the new parking lots over here. So we'll see when it comes out with the final
We would have
cost.
some down in front of the highway shop building too, all the way from.
Yeah.
end
Oh,
up
true. That was the second
corner,
chunk down there from A&W to the corner. But highway has the skill set now with learning how to do it over here. So we'll see what the bid is from the city with their contractor, and then we'll look at what it would cost if we do it ourselves next summer when it's due.
Quite a bit of sidewalk to pull our highway crew.
And that's the
off of
right.
what they're doing
Right.
to
If we don't have the
lay in
crew
concrete.
to do it, we would have to go with the city bid. The nice thing with going with the city bid is that they're here, they're doing the whole stretch, they're doing it all at once. They do it continuously rather than a chunk of us or a chunk of them.
My main reason for asking that question is, weren't we talking about at some point in time potentially putting a power outlet out here or something for, yeah, I mean,
We looked into that. So the chamber requested it. A couple other of the groups that would have used it is to put a 3-phase over on, what's this street over here by the sheriff's?
Chestnut? No. Cherry.
Is that Cherry?
Right.
Yeah, Cherry over here. In front of the sheriff's office by the Ford building. They were looking for like a 3-phase or a larger plug-in for when they do festivals, because that's where they put the food carts. And then you wouldn't have to have generators running there. When we looked into it, our problem is we don't have enough in our buildings to run another power to it.
Event.
Yeah, so we would have to upgrade our electrical in one of the 2 buildings in order to power something out there. We have talked about upgrading some of the sheriff's department power because we had some backflow of water issues, and just to have we would like an outside plug. So we have a generator, we have regular power in the sheriff's department, but what we would like to do is put kind of like you have on a camper, where you could just pull a generator up to it and plug the side of the building in and run at least our IT. So that would be an upgrade to some of our systems. So that might be an opportunity to get to the point where we could run power. The chamber did say they have some funding if needed, when the time came.
Okay. Anything else, Josh?
That's all I got.
That's all you've got.
Oh, we're still moving a couple offices in this building. We're working with Josh and his crew to time it between taxes being collected and the transition to the new electeds. So the main thing is we're going to get everybody into the clerk treasurer's office, and then we'll focus on the treasurer's office and all the stuff in there probably closer to February, once we get everybody settled.
Super. Yeah, I would assume starting pretty quick here. It'll be pretty vacant here. A lot of people on vacation for Christmas and whatnot.
December's-
including Josh, probably.
Josh eats his
No.
all up. No, December is our slower time for some of the stuff, but then you look at the treasurer's office, they get real busy because it's tax time. The finance office gets real busy because audit starts January 9th or whatever, that second week in January. So we see a lot less traffic, citizen traffic, but some of our offices get real busy where others, slow down because there's less traffic.
Okay, thanks, Josh. We'll move on to the forestry and parks. The other Josh.
Sure, you got other things you want to do. You can stay if you
First
want.
item is our fall timber bids. Everybody's got a copy of them.
I'm sure you got other things you'd rather do. See you, Josh. Merry Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, go sit at his desk.
Does anybody have questions on?
1924, has that been multiple times that one's been on? Or no? What is that number? Is this
No,
the first one
that's
for that?
that's first time.
Okay, it just, for some odd reason, that one rings a bell, like, I don't know, maybe we had one similar to that.
Yeah, there might have been an older
Yeah, okay.
few. Yeah.
And what do we think is the reasoning for that one? Is this the one we did a road, or we were gonna do a road too?
No, we haven't done any. Well, we've done some roads, but the county's not put any money into
Yeah,
gravel into roads. That's the key to selling
Yeah.
timber is access.
Sure.
And if you don't have good access, it's tough to sell it. You don't make the same money. So
but I thought is this the area we were gonna work on a road for?
we did apply for funding.
And that
we
was
did-
for this one?
Yeah.
Oh,
we didn't,
okay.
We didn't get that funding.
Oh,
that
okay,
that
sure.
funding is, we probably never will get that funding, but
Oh.
we'll keep on applying for it.
Sure.
Where is that job down in South?
No, this is actually
East
out on
side.
D.
Oh. Oh, that's the one that Paula's husband was questioning, what job we were looking for that funding for access.
Yeah.
well, it'd be that general area.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm surprised. Nick has been waiting for me to say I was wrong. I'm not gonna say I was wrong yet, but I'm just surprised that we got what we got. The logging business is in tough shape. So overall, what did I see the number? We were
Well, we're over the estimate. but
over
we
the
had-
estimate by
but we had two
30,000
that,
without two of them not getting bids on it. So I guess we're okay as long as guys can get in and get rid of their wood.
It's not, just because we sold it all doesn't mean we're in good shape, because 400,000, I don't remember what our spring sale total was, but it usually we're a higher percentage above even without sales. So
Right.
it is slowing down. I'm not arguing that. We'll be monitoring. It'll probably be something we adjust in a future budget to slowly start to plateau with it.
Yeah, our gross the last couple of years hasn't hit what we're supposed to hit on net, just on the overall sale. So
All right. Is there a
Only-
motion to accept these bids or?
I'll motion to accept.
Okay, I have a motion to accept the
I'll
bids
second
as
it.
presented, second by Jordan. Any other discussion on anything there?
Will we, Joe, will we throw these back on the spring one or will we try to find
So
somebody right now?
somebody can, the way it's set up now is, once it's put for sale, a person can come in and direct buy.
Okay,
So
that's what I thought. I wasn't sure.
And we've had some of that happening in the
Yeah.
last few bids, so.
Mm-hmm. And then they just got to buy it at
at
minimum.
minimum.
Yeah. So hopefully that happens and then we'll be in the 400 and about 470 range. So that makes it a little bit better. So
Yeah,
slightly.
yeah, a little bit, as long as we can get it cut and get rid of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Campground online reservation system update.
Okay, so on our end, we're pretty much ready to go. Sites are set up. We put all the permits on there. Shelter reservation stuff is going to be done all online now too. That way we don't have to keep a calendar. We used to just keep it in office, a calendar, and write it in by hand. This way it's online and you can see what you're doing. So everybody's going to be doing the online reservation for shelters. We are waiting on Point and Pay is the company that the county uses, and they are slow on getting their stuff back to us, so getting us set up. So that may delay us some. So we're waiting on them, and then IT is going to have to do something with a URL as well, just because the website you're using your own website, so they have to do that on their end. So that's kind of where we're sitting. Not exactly sure on the startup. It's going to be tough to be by January 1st with still waiting for those couple things. So the one thing that was brought up that we can do, I guess now, is we can offer on, instead of refunds, we can offer a credit instead. Value of that would be that, the whole purpose of doing the reservation is to bring people here. So refund, then, that's, you're just giving the money back. There's no guarantee they're coming in. But even if you give a credit, there's no guarantee. But credit encourages them then to come a different weekend and actually come to the area. So that is something there. That might be something we should look into rather than a straight up refund on these. So.
And that's just a software in the system, I would assume.
Yeah. And I guess that was something that just was, brought up that, you can do that. So that's something where maybe we should look at that instead of,
Sure.
So if we look at the website right now, can we see which slots you've picked, or have we not made that final decision
yeah.
yet?
So the sites are picked as far as what we're going to do. It's, there is no live website to look at, but it's basically the sites 1 through, and I will say it wrong because I don't have it in front of me, but sites like 1 through 7 or 8. So on that first loop, and then it'll be the sites going towards the newest portion, 43 through 60.
Kind of up
it's
towards
kinda-
where the wood pile is up.
Yeah.
So to the,
So it blocks it a
that
little
way
bit.
of the showers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Smith Lake, we kind of did the same thing where we did a couple on the old loop and a couple and we tried to kind of block them a little bit. So
So we still think it's gonna be online on January 1st, or are we gonna push it back? I
It's
mean,
it's probably going to be more like February 1st.
well, yeah, I think we should try to advertise that.
Pick a dates, yeah,
I-
say that we
We
hope.
should have an announcement, online on the county site, and then,
Yep, and Jules did put something on about the reservation, and then
sure.
the going live. We're kind of still waiting on Point and Pay. It's
Sure.
To get a concrete what's going on. She, after over a month
Yeah.
and a half, she did contact them and said, "Where are we at?"
Yeah,
So and
sure.
they still haven't set a concrete.
Well, I think we
date,
might as
so-
well just wait and do it February 1st. I mean, to get it in the next 2 weeks, we know everybody's busy.
Right, right.
so-
But I think if we decided that we were gonna say go with February 1st, I don't know what day February 1st is, but Jules could then say, we have a deadline to meet and put a little pressure on Point Pay
Yeah.
that way. It's a Saturday.
Perfect.
Yeah.
People be off. They can book all they want.
They can book away.
Yep.
So I know early on there was a discussion, and I don't know how hard it is or easy it is, but we were going to give 24, 48 hours for locals. Is that not really happening, or is that it's open, it's free for all?
That's why we left all the sites as first come first serve for the locals.
Okay.
That's
All right.
that's kind of where we're at.
All right.
Because otherwise, it's really tough to.
Yeah.
you-
Well, and
try-
I didn't
try to-
know. Yeah.
You could say that, but there's no way of actually
Policing it.
right. Yeah. So
All right. So we're gonna tentatively shoot for a February 1st date so that Jules has got something, or you or got something to.
we'll confirm on our end what the date is for getting this stuff set up so we can actually meet that. And then if we can, then that's what we'll put down and
All right.
get that on there as soon as we can.
Okay. Thanks. All right. Any other questions for Joel on the campground reservation system?
Not on the reservation system. Oh, we're going to the park.
We're going,
next.
we're going
Okay,
to
yep.
Solberg Park next, so. All right, well, let's dive right in there. Campground extension update.
So where we're at, stormwater permit was approved recently here. So we're good on that. Our electrical plan, we did get that taken care of. So Price Electric did approve that as well. The septic that's been done. So we're basically right now kind of a road layout, getting that done as far as grade and stuff like that for meeting that stormwater permit. So we're set up for that. We have that blowdown that was through there. That's getting cleaned up right now. And should be done by the looks of it. So looking to bid stuff out here in the next month and a half to 2. So
So that'll go for bid, and then hopefully summer start or
yeah,
fall start or
summer start.
summer start.
Yeah,
And are we going to put a timeline on that?
yeah.
Completion.
Ideally, if things would have went faster, we would have had the actual stumping and that kind of stuff done
Sure.
this fall. But we're
Are we going
cold
to try to
and
do a
frozen.
stumping, or that's all part of the bid?
we'll bid it out. We don't have equipment. The
Right.
dozer won't.
County's got a really nice Volvo sitting in the shop with a thumb
Yeah.
on it.
Big, yeah, nice big
Maybe we could-
excavator. sitting
And we
up
could
there.
borrow that from the highway department for twice the price.
Seems I remember Roger saying that we were gonna work together on this.
Yeah.
some
Oh,
of this.
and Roger has been really
I
good.
know, yeah,
very
yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
I know zero complaints about Roger. He has
We're
been very.
So the
good
only
for us.
permit then we're waiting on is for the ATV trail going out the back.
So then on the ATV trail portion of things, so we had that delineated, the wetlands delineated on that. Came back, we had, they basically when they go out, the route we picked was, we figured the least amount of wetland that we were going to have to cross. So we had that delineated, and for that, as long as you're under 10,000 square feet, you can get a general wetland fill permit is what it's called. So usually those general permits they're general permits. We submitted that, or actually had the company that did the wetland delineation. We had them submit the permit since they had done many of them. Thought, let's have them do that. So they submitted it. DNR sent back. They needed more information. We sent them more information. Then they didn't respond. So we contacted them and said, "Where are we at with this?" They said, "Well, you didn't give us all the information." So we set up a phone call, got the information that they needed. They told us this is what you need to get so we can get you the permit. We then got a notice of dismissal. So they dismissed the permit. And so now we're back to the beginning where we need to figure out what we're going to do here. So it was an interesting one in that they then met with their bosses and the person and policy person. And there was some things on there where it was, on the DNR end, it was very unprofessional. It was the amount of comments made about, there was a comment made during the time about, that basically the permit person didn't like ATVs. It was, well, we all know they're just going to drive through the wetlands anyways, was the comment during the phone call. There was comments made to me about our contractor that we hired. So it was I had phone calls with her boss and then the other boss asking about some of the stuff, and I have an email out. Still waiting to hear back from them on explanation on things, because things like we had talked about road safety. If you're putting an expansion on the campground, you got another private campground, you got houses, and it's a windy road with tight corners. We're trying to get them off the road if we're going to have a trail. That's the whole purpose. And so they said, we need a letter about why your road route is just fine. It's open. And we said, well, safety wise, we'd rather have them off. Well, they said, we need a letter from a county board representative. So Brian signed a letter stating this. They still listed that on the dismissal. So they told us they needed that and then just used that as a reason to dismiss still. So I
Do
just
you
kind of
think,
said,
Joe, that it would help if the town of Worcester gave us a letter saying they support the trail to get the traffic off their road because it's a residential area?
maybe, and Joel Ader sent a letter now too. I don't know. That's why I wrote an email out and just asked, well, you told us this is what you needed. We got you that, and then you used it as a dismissal reason. What should we do differently? Because we gave you exactly what you asked for. So
Something doesn't seem right there.
I don't know what the thought process. We'll see what they respond with on that.
So do we think we're just gonna, if they dismissed our original, can we just resubmit a permit and make sure everything's there, include Brian's letter, a letter from the town,
Right.
and say,
Right. And
here's the reasoning we're looking at this trail to keep the traffic off from the town road going through a residential area. Residents aren't all jumping up and down about it in the first place. So we're trying to minimize any negative
right.
impacts.
And that's probably where we're heading is resubmittal on it. But I want to make sure that we're clear on what we need. Because if we're told one thing and then we do that and then they dismiss it again, it's tough to submit a permit when you're told what you need to give them and then
Right.
we got to get clarification on where we're at, I guess, on things, because that was a tough one. So
it's not going to hold up the campground expansion project at all.
that's the ATV trail.
It's just the ATV trail going out the back of it.
On the campground expansion, I did have the bright idea to attend the town Worcester meeting when they talked about, while they're poorly worded, raising taxes 40%, and it wasn't raising taxes 40%, it was raising the levy 40%. That there was about 150 people at the meeting, and they think the county should pay for all the roads going out to Solberg because of all the super campers that are going to be going out there with the expansion now. So just to give you a heads up that people of Solberg are not happy, and we're inviting all these super campers out there now. So
And we did hear from I brought in his comments, and him and his wife were the two that complained at the Worcester meeting.
Yeah.
We did bring in Mr. Landowski's comments during
To hear
a
it.
couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So they were very adamant about that. So
yeah, and I'm not sure on camper weights. I do know there's some that are probably pretty heavy, but
mine's
not-
32 feet and it weighs 8,800 pounds. So, I mean, it's not that big.
no, I would imagine the town roads get hit harder with.
Yeah.
There's a lot different businesses that are
Mhm.
doing that then, but
Yeah.
I'm not expert.
But just to let you know, they think that the county should be paying for the roads out there and the maintenance on them and whatnot. And so we'll see what happens at the town board. There's, I don't know, some interesting comments were made. So,
Just for the record, Joel Ader is our recreational officer
Mhm.
that wrote the letter. We named
That
him
is-
just so those who may or may not know
Yeah.
him. That's why we had him write a letter, as he's the.
and I can reach out to Jeremy if you want me to about the town Worcester to write something. If you need
I
to
think
hear.
it would be a good idea to have some support of getting the traffic off the road from the town.
We'll see what they come back with questions, but we can, yeah, and even town chair would,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, Jim
write
would.
too.
I'm sure Jim would help out with that.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to Lower Steve Creek Flowage Dam update.
Okay, so that's the engineering company. They're doing their end of things as far as getting a plan put together. They started working through it. They did their field stuff that needed to be done off of what DNR said they had already, data for. And he started putting it all together. Well, DNR had given us old data and it wasn't the newest stuff. So we had to put in a request to get the actual data, that the new stuff. So that put us back about a month. So they did get us the updated things. So we're just waiting now, I guess, on him to do his end of things as far as design and
Do we still anticipate being able to bid that out in the spring?
what should be this winter. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. For hopefully this summer. So.
Any questions for Joel on that one?
Just eagerly awaiting the final paperwork on that to be able to see what it comes back. Yeah.
It's been a couple year process already, yeah.
Mhm.
All right, department update, financials. We already seen the vouchers, so.
Currently just working on setting up sales. Kyle and Kyle Schmidt's DNR. He's our DNR liaison. He does a lot of field work for us. Been busy setting up sales, working on freeze downs, trying to get swamps froze down and help get guys into jobs. So it's kind of, day like this really helps. So sounds like we're pretty close to having a few move in on jobs. Right now we have 6 active. Did some park close down stuff. And then the swings that got smushed by the tree out at Solberg did get replaced. We'll have to blend that in because a barrier or a boundary around that came with it. It's like a plastic and it's raised, and so we got a lot of work to blend that in, but the swings are replaced, so we're good that way.
Nothing else, everything's running.
Yeah.
You're loving the dozers. Today's a beautiful day to be out there,
Yeah.
sitting on a dozer, freezing down roads.
Yeah, Fred's opening up a couple, and then we got that last section of ATV trail that's got to get gravelled yet, so he's
Out in
Trying to-
Georgetown.
trying to freeze down around the boardwalks that's part of the reason why, just a side note, the ATV trail, you could put boardwalks over top those wetlands. The wetlands that we're crossing, I drove through with my pickup truck, like they didn't make marks. So it's on a improved road, and but
So it's
there's
up on a
wetland,
map, so.
there's wetland characteristics. Yes. So they're wetlands, but you can put boardwalks over those and it's not considered wetland fill. The problem is just what we're running to out here, where we're going to have a logging job and we got to then maintain. you end up having to scrape down and having to freeze down around the wetland anyways to get through there with the equipment. So you're impacting more wetland than if you just do an approved crossing. It would be less wetland effects anyways, but that's what we're working on right now.
Okay. Where are we sitting with our stumpage revenues right now? Do you have a number off the top of your head?
Parks, we actually hit budget. Stumpage, we're at 688, 698, so 700,000.
A little bit below, but we've got, you said 6 active jobs. We'll get a little,
Few.
we'll add 20, 30,000 to that yet.
Yeah, maybe 100. Who knows? Depends on who moves on and how fast they go. But markets are not great as far as volumes go, so that's it's the slow part of things.
We don't have any active pine jobs right now. I mean, that usually
No, and
is
we
a-
shouldn't. I don't think this winter we will have any.
Okay,
Bell isn't going to cut that one until next summer or winter, they said. So
that's usually a quick boost, like
Mhm.
a shot of adrenaline there to the budget numbers, but. All right, anybody have any questions for Joel? For the good of the order? If not, we are adjourned.